The newest ones that we are opening up this year is our P-Tech Academy. And this is an early college. It will be housed at Champion High School, and the children can go through and get their cybersecurity certification in the first 2 years of college for free, and it will transfer anywhere to a state institution in Texas. That's a big savings if you have any children in school and college right now.
Welcome to the Real Estate of Texas with the Gals of the Hill Country, brought to you by Solid Realty Group in Boerne, Texas at solidrealtygroup.com. And now your hosts, Jessica Johnson and Callie Red.
Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to have you tuning in with us today on the Real Estate of Texas. We are Solid Realty Group, Boerne's 5-star realtors, and we're here to talk about all things real estate in Boerne, Texas, and across the country. I'm your host, Jessica Johnson, and I'm one of the owners and realtors, and I'm here with my fabulous business partner, Miss Callie Red.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey, Callie. We are super excited to have our superintendent from Boerne Independent School District here with us today, Mr. Tommy Price. How are you, Tommy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're super happy. So a lot of people move to Boerne, and a lot of people move to Boerne for the schools. And so we wanted to have you on here today to talk about some of the benefits that BISD brings to people that move to Boerne.
Well, one thing I can clarify, I don't think they come to us for the schools. They come for the community. And what makes us special is we're part of that community, a reflection of it.
That's very true. I like that. Very good. Yeah. So with BISD, I know that you guys have been nominated a couple of years in a row for being like top 500 across the U.S. Huge accolades. What do you do to get that?
I think you hire the best people, you live in the best community, and have the best kids. So when you do that, you're going to rise to the top. We're very fortunate to have some innovative folks in the district, and we really try to look at where are we going in the world and make sure our children are prepared for that next step and face those challenges. In the past couple of years with COVID and trying to make sure our children are prepared once they leave us, it's been rather scary at times.
Yeah, it certainly has, especially with Uvalde at the end of last year. It's been hard.
It's changed our world.
It has. So one of the things I found out last night is that you guys have a resource officer on every campus. Will you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, this is really something years in the making. If you remember and go a couple of years past COVID, Santa Fe was the big talking point, and Santa Fe was another tragedy. And at the time, we started increasing the number of SROs, which is our resource officers for each of the campuses, and we went up to 5. And we planned on doing more every year. Then COVID happened, and it shaked our world up in many different ways. So we were concentrating on making sure our children were safe from disease and being able to come to school, and we kind of put that on hold, kind of climbed out of COVID last year, and then the tragedy of Uvalde shook us back into we really have to focus on what do we need to make sure our students and our staff are safe and feel safe at school, and make sure our parents feel that security so that they can make sure that when they need to know that once they leave their children with us, they're going to return. It doesn't matter at all how much algebra they learn all day if they don't go home to the moms and dads every day.
Yeah, very much.
So the resource officers are one thing, and that's a great thing. But I know, it's been a couple of years since I've had kids in the Boerne ISD, but there used to be, just the check-in process and the whole way that you go into the school. So you have a lot of systems in place to ensure the safety of the students.
Oh, it's, we're focused right now because of Uvalde on the hardening of schools, the guns, and that is a threat out there. But really, when you look at all the other things going on, we've been for years hardening the schools in a way that, we all moved here because of the culture, the whole community, the feel. We want to balance that safety, and it can't be prison feel. And we don't want our kids to feel like they have to line up like going on a trip at TSA and go through metal detectors. That's not why we moved here.
Absolutely.
But we also want them to be safe, so we have to balance that. So we've upped those things. We made sure people are locking their doors, locking the outside, narrowing the access points, the things that we can do to make sure that everyone is really being on guard but not panicking. And I think those SRO officers, what's neat is they're not guards like you think of prison walking around. they really interact with our kids. They work with them. They go to their activities. They become part of our staff. And what is one of the neat things that comes out of this is there's not this fear of law enforcement. And that's really a life skill that we all need. You need to know that these are the good guys. They're out there to help us. And if you listen to some of the rhetoric out there, that's not what they're painted like. When I was growing up, those were our heroes. And it's sad that some, for whatever happened in our society, that's not being painted that way. But our kids get to see great role models every single day on campus, helping, supporting, working with our parents, working with our teachers, and just being part of our community. So it's more than just being that guy with a gun. We have it, we need it, but it's more than that.
Right. No, all of that's wonderful. So let's talk about some of the programs that you have there at Boerne ISD. I know there's a florist program, a cooking program, welding.
Yeah. The newest ones that we are opening up this year is our P-Tech Academy. And this is an early college. It will be housed at Champion High School, and the children can go through and get their cybersecurity certification in their first 2 years of college for free, and it will transfer anywhere to a state institution in Texas. That's a big savings. If you have any children in school and college right now, you know the first 2 years, that's great to have that paid for, and it gives them doors, opportunities, and cybersecurity is one of the big things in this area. Another one that we will be opening up within about 2 years is another early college, and it's going to be at Boerne High School, and it's going to be the MedTech, and it's going to be what they'll be able to do whenever they graduate. They will have their first 2 years, and they'll be hopefully LVN. And if they want to go RN, they want to go into another medical field, they can. But that's a needed area around here, especially with the Baptist Hospital coming in here. And we want to be able to, again, grow these children and give them, if they choose to move away, they can. But I don't want them moving away because they don't have the skills that they can contribute and be part of our community.
So that's a really great example of all of the entities cooperating together,
yes.
Right? Because you know the hospital's coming in,
Yes.
so you're preparing the students for that opportunity that's going to be right here locally. I love that.
I do too. Wow. And so what are some of the current programs that you have in place right now for kids?
Well, I'll tell you one that I'm really excited about, and talk about partnerships. If you go down 46 and you look at the fairgrounds, I hope everybody notices the new paint on the barn there. For years and years, the Kendall County Fair Association had that property. They approached us, and one of the big gaps we have is the lack of ability for some of our students who live in subdivisions to raise animals. You can't raise, in my subdivision, they don't let you raise pigs, they don't let you raise lambs, goats.
In Callie's neighborhood, you have to leash your cat.
You're supposed to, yes.
That's another. I haven't checked that out. My animals stay inside. They're afraid to go outside. But what this has allowed us to do is work with this partnership. And if we were to go out and build a ag barn for our students, what we would have to do is invest probably $5-6 million into the land, into the building, and this allows us to work with them. I think we're doing $1 a year lease, and we've gone in and used some of the bond funds from the past bond to update it, put some fans in, water and things. But right now we have over 30 children in 4-H and FFA who did not have the opportunity to raise animals to raise their animal there. But one of the things I really like to brag about at that program, it's not just raising the animal. This is a little business. They have to understand how much it costs to raise, how much they cost to sell, how much to keep the books, how to go out and be a salesperson. So it's a really neat opportunity for our kids to develop life skills and develop that responsibility and some resiliency, because sometimes you don't get the market that you think you're going to get for your pig or your goat. It's a learning experience, and again, it's a great partnership with our community.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us, we're the Real Estate of Texas, and we're here with Tommy Price, who's the superintendent of the Boerne Independent School District, and we're just talking to him about some of the programs that we had available in the school. But with such good programs and such good stuff, what do you guys anticipate is going to be the growth for the children in the schools within the next 10 years?
It's really scary, and I'll give you a big example. Last year when school started, we started on the first day of school with 9,995 students. Today we have 10,780 students. It's an elementary school in 1 year.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we're preparing in many ways, not just the building parts, but what goes on inside. So we're doing a lot of planning, a lot of work with our parents, and trying to make sure, again, it goes back to we're a reflection of this community. So what values, what kind of programs do we want to have in these programs? So we need that input. I fully expect, if you listen to our demographers, that we will be doubling in size very quickly. But because just think, we're at almost 11,000. If we're growing about 600 to 700 students a year, it doesn't take much to see that we will double in 10 years. But one of the things that we discovered as we were going through our data, we talk about that small town feel, and you have to work to keep it. Well, it's not just 700 new students to the system. Really, from last May to this time, we have almost 1,500 new students enrolling in the district. So we have some kids moving out. It's really important to us to keep that small town feel, so we have to work towards that culture as we're growing, because I love it that people come up to me and they share a concern with me, and they expect me to know everything that's going on, and which is good, because I think we have everybody fooled that we're still small. The reality is, if you look at the number of school districts in the state of Texas, 1,200, we're now larger than over 950 of those school districts. We're not considered a small school district in Texas anymore.
No, that's
So if we double in population, we're going to need a lot more facilities.
Yeah.
I mean, because right next door we've got Kamal ISD, right, and they've got 20-something thousand students. They've got 35 schools, right? We don't have anywhere near 35 schools. So
no, and I don't know everything in the history in Kamal, and they're more spread out. I do think they'll probably hate me over there. I think we're doing a better job of looking and utilizing the spaces we have, and making sure that our campuses are full before we build. And we have to do that. We owe it to our community. We can't keep going to them and asking them for more and more and more, without making sure that we are being as fiscally responsible as possible. And it's tough. I mean, we live in an expensive community just to live in. So going to the well, and we do it, and it's not just in the bonds. We go and we ask sponsorships for all our little clubs and for our football teams, basketball teams. So we really worked to make sure that part of our culture is that we give back to the Boerne community. And when we say Boerne community, we mean Kendall County, Fair Oaks, everybody who are our patrons. And I'll give you a couple of good examples. About Tuesday of this week, one of the things that we did is we had a subcontractor fair with the bond, and we invited all the subcontractors in this area to come and be part, because there's different ways that you can build buildings. And one of those is you can do a general contractor, and they are this big firm, and they hire everybody. With inflation and all the costs that are going into this bond, we want to be frugal, but we also want to make sure that we include as many people locally as possible. So we set up this fair. We brought in, I think, 4 of the biggest general contractors in the state, and we set up a networking event where the local contractors could figure out how to be a vendor for us, but also work with the general contractors. So it opened up doors for them, not only here, but in other areas. So maybe they don't get a job here, but maybe in Kamal or maybe in Fredericksburg. To me, that was just a great opportunity for our community. But also, even one of the things we've had discussions about is we've got great restaurants. We've got great things going on up and down Main Street. So before we go to the Rim to buy tacos, let's do it here.
Yeah.
We owe it to our community as we go through. So I think you're going to see more and more of that as you go, just to give back to people and let them know we're grateful for all that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is wonderful. I had not heard about that event, so that's really great that you were opening that up to the local contractors. 'Cause that's important to keep things local on every level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a beautiful concept. I'm really happy to hear that.
Oh.
Thanks a lot, Tommy. That's great. Is there anything else that you want the people, Bernie, to know about the BISD?
I'll tell you a neat thing that's going on right now that we're really excited about. We started last week with a parent panel, and we're bringing in experts to talk about, we talked about safety earlier, and our biggest threat right now is truly things like drugs, sex trafficking, suicide in our community. But we haven't had the time with COVID to really educate our community, our parents, what to look for. So last week we brought in our district attorney, Nicole Bishop. We brought in DEA. We brought in Steve Perez, and we did a panel on fentanyl. And it's the new deadly drug that's out there. So how can parents recognize the signs and help their children? Went over really well, and we're going to follow up next week with a cyber threat. And a lot of people think on your telephone for your kids and computers, but the reality is cyber threats are coming up through PlayStation and Xbox and those things. So what should we be looking for to protect our kids? We're doing one on suicide prevention. We're doing one on sex trafficking and bringing in a speaker and panels, because we think of sex trafficking, at least what I did when I first started looking into it, as the white van grabbing somebody at Walmart and throwing them in. The reality, it's all done on the internet and luring our kids into doing things that are silly, but you know what? We probably all did them when we were kids, but there wasn't the internet out there to really get us. So we want to give back. We want to really educate and prevent some of those things from happening to our children.
I completely agree. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show, Tommy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. This is really informative.
It was. I was really glad to hear about that. And you're right. Our schools are a great reason for people to come, but our community is the reason that they stay.
And we do have to ask you, because we ask everyone,
yes,
what is your favorite thing about Boerne?
My favorite thing about Boerne, besides the schools, of course, that's number one.
That is.
It's number one. But Main Street. I love walking out of our building and having a tough day and looking down Main Street and just seeing, I see the visitors and I see just the happy faces, and it just that feel that we have, and it's where I wanted to be all my life, and God placed me in the right place.
Well, we're glad to have you here. The school's really lucky, Tommy. Really lucky.
I'm the lucky one. So
thank you so much for coming. We really
so
appreciate
much.
you joining us.
I think that's all the time we have today. We're going to be right back with our Boerne Business Spotlight.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. The real estate of Texas is always changing. Get a solid start to buying or selling a house with Solid Realty Group. Hey y'all, I'm Jessica Johnson, co-owner of Solid Realty Group, Boerne's 5-star realtors, where we have saved our clients over $3 million. Given today's rising home values and interest rates, every penny counts. Call Solid Realty Group to buy or sell, and we can help you save more and stress less. Call us at 210-827-3733, solidrealtygroup.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here on the Real Estate of Texas, brought to you by Solid Realty Group. We are so lucky today to have Darcy Scrimsher with the Boerne Point 5K here talking to us about their upcoming event. Welcome, Darcy.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. This is like the best event of Boerne. This is so much fun.
Yeah, I love this event.
I
It's
do
one
too.
of my favorites.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too. So people just joining us don't know about the Boerne Point 5K.
Who does not know about the Boerne Point 5K?
I know. A lot of people, but I think more people should know, which is why we've got you on here. So tell us about this event. It's so cool. I just want to keep going.
Yeah, so just basically a group of friends were sitting around drinking beers one day and said, wouldn't it be funny if we did like a 0.5K instead of a 5K? And it just sort of evolved into an actual event that turned viral. It was on Good Morning America after the first year. And then the 2019, the second year they held the event, it sold out in 20 minutes. And so it just kind of created the viral sensation because it's a very tongue-in-cheek, we call it a race in air quotes. So the whole point is to be lazy and not really do much.
Yes,
It's a race for the rest of us.
It's a race for the but it also is incredible because it brings in money and recognition to a very big nonprofit in our community that helps our kids at the schools, right?
That's correct. 100% of the proceeds go to the Boerne branch of Blessings in a Backpack, which provides meals for the children in the schools that are eligible on the weekends. So they get breakfast and lunch during the school year, but on the weekends they often go without food. So Blessings in a Backpack provides easy to make meals, ready to eat things for them to take home on the weekends.
Right. It's an incredible program. It's not, I think it started out as just peanut butter maybe, but now it's evolved from there and all sorts of things go in that backpack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's incredible what they do in there and how their dollar gets spread. And they work with a lot of the Hill Country Family Services, but it goes all the way up to the high school now, right? It provides with the elementary, middle school, and high school kids.
Yeah, it's a very robust program. And this year, the children in need has gone up 20%. So they need our support more than ever.
Wow, that's crazy. 20%.
Across the board for people that need
for
the kids?
In Boerne ISD, yes.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's incredible. So the event is now sold out, is that correct?
That is correct. We were fortunate enough, even after a 2-year COVID hiatus, to come back and sell out over the weekend, basically, after opening up registration on a Friday.
Yeah, so tell us more about the event. What can people expect when they show up?
Those that were lucky enough to get a spot, we have 3 different levels of participants. So you've got your regular old participant. You just show up and race, quote unquote. We have the VIPs. They get a little extra treatment, so you can hop in a limo and not even have to do anything whatsoever. And then we have our procrastinator package where people who can't even show up, and you can just sit on your couch at home and eat donuts and wear our awesome T-shirt and put the sticker on your car.
View from afar, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And so it's a crazy day. We start off at the Dodging Duck.
We do.
And
popping bottles and burning.
We've got some beer and we've got fun stations along the way. We make our long trek over to the grassy knoll area that we call over there by the Creek Restaurant and Cibolo Creek Brewing. We kind of end over there. But on the way over, you can expect a carb loading station.
That was donuts, right?
Donut
One year
holes.
It was donut holes.
It's donuts holes, compliments of Bear Moon.
Oh, Paula.
And then we have a smoking station with candies, cigarettes. So we want to stop and grab a smoke and chill because you're exhausted. You got to take a break. And then we have our friend Matt Foley in the van down by the river. You can stop by, chat with him, take a picture. It's a very Instagram-worthy situation right there. And then at the end, we have the first, second, and third place, which, of course, we don't time anyone, so you can choose whatever place you feel like you need to be. It just come out, have fun with it.
Do you still need any sponsors or volunteers?
Yeah, so the event is on October the 8th at 11 a.m., and we do have a website that you can still go to and sign up to volunteer. And that website is Boerne.5K, and you spell out the word point, .raceentry.com. And if you go on there, you can sign up to volunteer, and you can also just donate money straight to Blessings in a Backpack, which is very appreciated.
Right, which is the whole point of the whole thing, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And I know that you can also donate peanut butter, right? You can bring peanut butter.
Yes, at the registration table, for those that are attending, we will have a big peanut butter drive going on. It's a contest, creamy versus crunchy, but if you want to donate peanut butter,
all the way.
then you can always bring that over to Blessings in a Backpack at any time, and they're very happy to take your peanut butter, whichever kind you prefer.
Whichever kind.
Or both.
Yeah, exactly.
Or both, just
combo.
bring it. And when they get dollars that are donated to the organization, they can do they have an agreement with Walmart and H-E-B here in Boerne, right, to help get some things that cost that get more food into the kids, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And then the peanut butter, too, because they put it in the backpack, so they don't want you going to Costco and buying, like, the 5-pound jar. Is that correct?
Correct. So just the regular standard jars of peanut butter. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to think about the little kid carrying the peanut butter in the backpack.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty heavy.
Don't make him tip over.
No, but I think the fact that we're feeding the kids at schools that need that is just an incredible thing to be done. And I think that that's really important that our community comes together and makes sure that our children are fed and that they have something to eat during the weekends when unfortunately sometimes the food at their house is not available. So what you guys do is just it's such a fun event, and it just like Callie. She's got a huge smile on her face. It just
I just think this is like the greatest use of, hanging out with your friends and drinking a beer ever to create something like this that just keeps perpetuating and just becoming even more amazing.
Yes.
It was a brainchild of Jay Milton, and he's the one who was very passionate about making sure that all the proceeds 100% go to blessings. So we want to carry on that legacy in his memory. So
yes, Jay was a wonderful guy. We really have to.
And funny.
And
oh man,
he was funny, which makes this whole event funny.
Well, and there'll be hints of Jay there set.
Oh, of course.
He will be there.
Oh, good.
Cheering us on.
Fantastic. So the event is October 8th at 11 a.m. starting at the Dodging Duck, correct? Yes. Well, we hope to see you there. We hope you bring your peanut butter. We hope that you support our community in growing this event. Wear your costume.
Costumes are fun.
Yes. Callie, you going sloth again?
I will probably be a sloth. Yes.
Fantastic. I love it.
Thank you so much for coming, Darcy.
Yes. But before you go, we do have our one question that we ask everybody. What is your favorite thing about Boerne?
What I love about Boerne is it doesn't matter where you go. You could be buying a donut or buying a beer, and people talk to you, and they just want to hang out and find out more about you, whether they've seen you 20 times or never before.
That is true.
That is true. I love that. No one's mentioned that before, but that is true. Oh, fantastic. Well, we were listening to Darcy with the 0.5K. We are super happy. And just a reminder, if you're in the market to buy or sell a house in the Boerne or San Antonio area, we hope that you'll remember Solid Realty Group. One of our taglines, as we say, is save more, stress less, and that's because we believe in educating our clients and ensuring that you get the best deal possible.
You can give us a call or a text at 210-827-3733 or go to our website at solidrealtygroup.com. Thanks a bunch, guys, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Bye, Darcy.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Darcy. Thanks for coming.